Yo, what up, everyone? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome into a brand new episode of Snaps. I'm T-Bob Hebert, Aaron Murray. Shout out to all the homies, Imago Day, Lamars, Marie, and everybody else hanging out in chat right now. We got a great show planned for you today. We're going to really run the gamut today. We're going to go all across the college football country. We'll start up in Michigan. We'll head over to Alabama and Oregon at the same time. Little USC talk, Washington, and then, of course, because Aaron's on the show, is Georgia's win over Eli Drinkwitz good enough to vault them to number one over Ohio State? So some playoff preview kind of littered throughout today's show. Thank you for joining us, guys, wherever you are, podcast, live, in the future on YouTube. I hope the future is well. I hope it finds you well and healthy. Aaron, how are you feeling today?
Good. And also news tonight, T-Bob and I will do a live reaction to the playoff polls. So around 7:30 Eastern. So be on the lookout for that. We'll react to the hopefully new top 10 and new number one. Fingers crossed. But join us tonight. Grab a cold one.
Should we grab a cold matters. Should we grab a cold definitely one? Matters. What? Yeah.
Grab like a cold. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you grab beer? What do you mean?
I'm just asking if we are.
If you're asking, look, I'm not the person to ask, because if the question is ever posed to me, should I grab this mind-altering substance? Like, I'm a near 100% yes rate. So I'm not the best. Not diving board. What do you call it? Dartboard. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck it. All right, let's get into it. So, Michigan sounding board. Thank you, PG.
Dartboard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank God for producers.
Goat dog. I should have said that $9.99 for T-Bob's hemorrhoid cream yesterday. Well, to be clear, I don't have hemorrhoids anymore. I haven't in years. I think the Kegels went a long way towards helping with that. Maybe as well as some better dietary decisions. But that was a lot of fun against Oregon back in the day. Thomas, I had no idea. I'm a little jelly about that. Anyway, I'll leave that in chat. All right, Michigan had Ric Flair come to the building, Aaron. Ric Flair, of course, one of the all-time great wrestling personalities, a man known as a bit of a heel and a villain himself at times. And, now Michigan's saying they're embracing the villain role. Here's a great quote from O-lineman Zach Zinter, who's a beast. Quote, "Sometimes the villain wins and takes down the superhero. If that's going to be the case, let's be a villain and take him down. I'm fine with being the villain if that's how the media and everyone else sees it outside the building." So I'm of two thoughts here, Aaron. First off, if I was on Michigan, I would be saying the exact same thing, right? You gotta embrace it. You gotta say F the world. It's everybody against us. I think the problem with Michigan right now is, he hit the nail on the head. For the villain to be cool, he has to win. He has to take down the superhero. Like, Michigan has to win something. Right now, you're just an asshole. You're just an asshole that nobody likes. At least if you win a championship, you become interesting because you've kind of flaunted all moral and ethical conventions and used it to claim the ultimate prize.
Well, it's funny. We talked this summer. We gave I think it was on 4th of July. We did like, who's America's team? And I made a strong case for Michigan. Like I said,
yeah, like we did. I forgot.
Yeah, like I picked Michigan as like, who's America's team right now? And I was like, well, I think it's Michigan. It's a blue blood. It's a big brand, but hasn't won.
It's a Norman Rockwell painting. Like, you said,
took down Ohio State, who a lot of people don't like Ohio State. It's like, I generally felt and thought that people would be rooting for Michigan this year. Like, could Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, good old man who just loves to eat eggs and steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a good American. That's Michigan football. People want them to win. And now all of a sudden, it does feel like that is completely flipped, at least in my mind, of, they are the bad boys, the cheaters, the villain, whatever you want to label them. That is Michigan football right now. And, you saw them. Was the first game of the season, when Jim Harbaugh first got suspended, the offense went out there and kind of made a statement. Yeah, they made a statement. I truly think in that locker room right now, they're like, I don't care, or we don't care if people view us as one thing. we know we're good.
Yeah.
And us against the world is a pretty strong mentality. So I think they rally around that, and I think they kick some ass going forward.
And again, that's exactly what the locker room should do, right? But outside looking in, there's no doubt that, yeah, they are way less likable now. And again, they're just kind of assholes until they win something, right? Like, don't get your ass kicked by TCU.
How do you
And
view
then
the
you become,
Astros though? Like it's such a similar comparison with obviously
I think, yeah, look, and this is coming
people
from a lot of,
hate Houston.
yes, I was gonna say a lot of Louisiana people are huge Astros fans. So I see kind of the batten down the hatches, like, F the world, like we are the Astros, whatever. Yeah, it's the same type deal, right? It's like the Patriots, how people view the Patriots. And so if you're within that community, you do the Tyrion Lannister and you just wrap yourself up in it and you say, F all of y'all, I don't care, we're gonna win. Because like that's the only way to really win this. Like, what have the Astros done? They just kept winning.
Patriots,
what did the Patriots do after Spygate? They just kept winning. Like that's the ultimate way to just say, screw all of y'all. Doesn't matter. So we'll see. Silky Johnson says 6-point loss equals ass kicked. If it's TCU versus Michigan, yes, Silky. Yeah. Like, especially with the national championship berth line. Absolutely. I mean, not even a question, Silky. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Do you think this team needs Harbaugh to win a championship? I think that's an interesting conversation about this, because if he does get suspended and say they impose something and Harbaugh kind of just takes it and doesn't want to be a distraction and let this thing keep going, are they a good enough team to have that mentality and go win a championship? Or is he the thing that keeps it going? No, I mean, I never quite know the answer there, right? Because how much does a head coach actually do?
Yeah.
Then I feel like we have some correlation with head coaches not being there and teams playing worse. So that's tough to say. I don't know that I have a great answer. Here. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm kind of bored of this. So let's just get into the only other things that you need to know about the story right now. The Big Ten has notified, Michigan received a formal notification letter from the Big Ten on Saturday of potential disciplinary action. The Big Ten, it goes back to what Peter Burns said yesterday. He didn't pull that out of thin air, right? The idea out there right now is that Tony Petitti can cover himself by indefinitely suspending Jim Harbaugh, but that according to multiple Michigan lawyers, that Michigan would be able to fight that decision legally, claiming that you can't do that until the NCAA investigation ends, and that basically you would end up with kind of a legal stalemate where Petitti could be like, I tried to suspend him indefinitely, but now it's in the courts and it's out of my hands. So that's what's going on here. The funniest thing I read all day about this, and also NCAA is now investigating Stallions on the CMU sideline for that it's worth. The funniest thing I've read all day here is just that is a great story about Connor Stalions moving to Michigan in Ann Arbor in 2022 and purchasing a house. And then all of a sudden the neighbors see dozens of old vacuum cleaners show up on the porch. Somebody complains to the HOA. He then gets brought to trial over this HOA violation because the HOA has accused him of operating an appliance refurbishing business out of his home. And on a court document, Stallion says, quote, I suspect that whoever has chosen to sue me either 1, doesn't like the fact I'm a veteran, or 2, is a Michigan State fan and knows I'm a Michigan football coach and wants to draw attention away. He would later go on to reference, quote, someone named Jeff who lived down the street and had his son attending Michigan State. Quote, he uncomfortably questioned me about Michigan football and what goes on in our building, giving me a bad feeling about him. He definitely seemed like someone who wants to distract me with unnecessary time-consuming things like this. How funny is it that Connor Stalions, of all people, is getting a bad feeling about Jeff down the street and his intentions for the Michigan football program, given what Connor was doing
to distract him from his mission of creating an empire at the University of Michigan.
Connor really playing the victim card here. HOAs are ridiculous. Like, they're funny, make no mistake. But you can't have dozens of fucking vacuum cleaners on your porch. That's an eyesore. Like, I don't care if you're running the business out. If you want to refurbish vacuum cleaners, whatever. That's an odd angle. But do your thing, man. Like, it's a grind. We're all trying to make it out here. That's a good side hustle, I guess. But like, you can't be having it. You can't just have dozens. Think about how ridiculous dozens of vacuum cleaners looks. Keep it in the backyard, not the front yard. What are we doing here? Also, Pat Gunther and our producer with a great line. Nothing funnier than saying these accusations are a waste of time while he's refurbishing vacuum cleaners. Hey, look, dude. It does beg the question, though. Who is a bigger threat to Connor Stallions? Jeff and the HOA or the NCAA? I don't know, dude. NCAA is pretty feckless. HOAs fuck with people.
Oh, I know.
I think I'm gonna side with the HOA.
I've been they've almost stopped me from redoing my entire roof when the roof was already off. HOA came and said, you didn't get that approved. Tell them to put the shingles back on the roof. I'm like, listen, it's already off. That ain't happening. I'm sorry. That ain't happening. Oh, she was pissed. She came banging on my door 7:30 in the morning. Put that roof back on. You did not get that approved. I'm like, lady, they've been here for an hour. They've been here since 6 a.m. The roof is off, and they're putting it on new ones. And I promise you they'll look the same. So she literally looked at me and said, you need to tell them to put it back on.
HOA people have way too much fucking time on their hands. Way too much time. But again, Connor, just move the vacuum cleaners in the backyard. What do we do? All right. So that's everything on the Connor Stallion story. It continues to be weird as hell. Go win something, Michigan. Alabama, Oregon. This is kind of fascinating, Aaron. Yesterday in our Snaps Top 10, we had a bit of a debate. Where do we rank him? It wasn't really a debate. I just kind of said it, and you're like, whatever. I put Alabama above Oregon, but it does create a pretty interesting conversation here because you could have a situation where later on you maybe get a one-loss Pac-12 Oregon, a one-loss SEC champion Alabama. What do you think, though, right now? Let's talk about right now. Who is the better one-loss team? Is it Dan Lanning's team out of Eugene, or is Nick Saban still reign supreme here?
Trying to think, like, what would we consider the better loss? I still think Texas.
I didn't say better resume. I'm saying who's the better team.
I know, but that's part of it for me too. Of like, what did you look like? I would say I still lean towards Oregon in the conversation right now. I think Oregon is still a team that is proven they can win defensively. They got guys on that side of the football, obviously Lanning being a defensive mind, and I think they're the better offense. People are going to point to the fact that it's Nick Saban and Dan Lanning, and Nick Saban would never lose to Dan Lanning. Like to me, every time I feel like I've had that conversation over the past week, it's been what people go right to, and I get it. Like,
but you don't think that Nick Saban daddy power is real? Like, dad strength's a real thing. And Nick Saban has 100%. The ultimate dad strength.
I'm just going to take away the coaches here. I know it's hard to do. Once again, with Alabama, kind of Nick Saban, Alabama go hand in hand. But I think Oregon's the better football team.
Quarterbacks as well.
Just take away the
okay. You take away the coaches. I'll take away Bo Nix. We'll take away the quarterbacks, and then let's compare the teams. What the fuck are you talking about?
I think Oregon's the better football team. That's all I'm saying. Like, better on football
player to player basis.
Player to player basis. I think Oregon's the better team. That's why I'm taking Nick Saban out of the equation.
That's interesting because I don't know that I agree.
Now, the better quarterback, they get the better running back, they get the better receivers.
Yeah. Who's old boy that is great at receiver for Oregon? Why am I blanking? He dominated the Washington game. He took over. Yeah, but Alabama's defense is better.
Not that much.
You don't think that much? I think Alabama's one of the best
Franklin
in the entire country.
I knew it.
Troy Franklin. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job turning young in the chat. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I think. Look, I think on a
roster
roster standpoint,
who do you trust more? Like, I think the big question for everyone is
I don't know that I trust Bo Nix. I've constantly seen Bo Nix play really well, but not win in the biggest moments. So, like, I don't know why you should have some sort of trust in Bo Nix. And I've seen an Alabama team that's grown immensely since the Texas game. And again, there is a bit of fool's gold in Jalen Milroe's LSU stat line because did you hear Brian Kelly's fucking press conference? The answer we kept playing this morning, he's like, after reflection and reviewing the film, we feel like we maybe should have spied him.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Like, what? Like,
what?
You fucking think? Literally, whatever he drunk in the bar was yelling, watching the television during the game. And they asked him, well, at halftime, why wasn't anything done? And he's like, well, it's not really a halftime adjustment. It's just like a call. We just didn't do it. I'm like, oh my God. Dude,
some of the stuff he says is just baffling to me. I will say this, like the whole thing of, I know a lot of people love to use the word, just put a spy on him. Just put a spy on him. Just put a spy on him. Who are you going to truly put on him that can run with him?
Well, it'd be Harold Perkins. That's why you have the
Harold
best
can't run with him. Harold can't run with him.
He could get the closest, though. He could get the closest.
He can't run with him.
Absolutely.
He can't run with him.
The closest.
I would know.
With a I'm not saying it's a panacea to solve LSU's defensive problems, but you're fucking tripping if you don't think Harold Perkins is as well suited as anybody in the entire country to running with him. You're crazy. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he did to Bryce Young. He spied Bryce Young last year in ways that nobody else could.
I don't think that changes.
It probably doesn't change the game, but if you're going to lose to Jalen Milroe, lose with him beating you with his arm. That's the point. Why did you allow Jalen Milroe to do what he's best? All I'm saying is other teams are going to be smarter and have been smarter with how they defend Jalen Milroe. I think there's a bit of fool's gold in this performance.
Well, you also have to look at what has Jalen done over the course of the season. Like, he hasn't had a game like that where he's just run the football. Like, he hasn't. Like, you look at a lot of stat
because
lines.
Nobody else has fucking dropped 8 into zone coverage, and the linebackers are 15 yards deep every play. What are you talking about?
You look at this game, I think there's a lot of situations where Jalen just throughout the season, we talked about, like, Jalen has not wanted to run.
These weren't designed quarterback runs.
They were not designing plays for him to run the football. He was not willing to run. All of a sudden, I think this game during the bye week, I think it was told to him, like, hey, kid, just run. Just take off. Like, if your first read is there, just go. I think part of it is, yes, LSU defensively did not put themselves in the right situation. I do think this was Jalen's coming out party of saying, hey, don't forget that I'm one of the most athletic guys in the country. I haven't shown it. This was his first time to me truly showing it.
To be fair to you, I do think both elements are in play there. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, he did run the ball more. I still think it is shocking that LSU chose to play really chose to play it. Like, they employed a defensive game plan that would have been more well suited to stopping like a pure pocket passer than the guy they were going against. But so I think it's both. And then honestly, Milroe's crazy rushing stat line would speak to it being both, right? Yeah. He did better, and LSU defense did made really bad decisions. So the point of all of this is that I'm not saying that I think Jalen Milroe is great, but I do think Alabama's a better team than Oregon. And it's a mixture of having the most top to bottom talent, having a better defense, and having Nick Saban. And again,
I don't think the defense is
I'm not trying to be a Bo Nix hater, because Bo Nix is really good, but Bo Nix did cost you the Washington game. And we always hyper criticize guys for not being able to get across the finish line and win the big games, and Bo Nix has not been proven able to do that lately.
Oh, he's got a chance. I mean, I don't know if you would consider it because it's not a top 25 game anymore, but I still think you beat Oregon, or excuse me, if you beat USC this weekend, I think you start building more confidence.
Yeah, it's a great win. That'd be great for Bo Nix. That'd be awesome.
If both of them were to be in a situation, and I think we do have to play the resume card a little bit here. If both of them were to put themselves in a situation where they were a one-loss team heading into the playoffs, I do think Alabama's resume, I know we've touted the Pac-12. I think Alabama's resume would be a little bit stronger.
Well, they'd have the Georgia win, you know, and that would imply probably breaking, what is at that point, like a 28-game win streak. Like that would be the best win of the country of the year. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to watch these two teams square up. Maybe we won't. But call me Chuck. Call me a, and maybe Nick Saban really just has Stockholm syndrome or something. But like, no, I don't believe that Oregon's better than Alabama. And I think if they were on a neutral field, that Alabama would be favored. Even if, to your point, Aaron, like, even if that is just a bit of like, you're just boiling the analysis down to it's Nick Saban. I think Vegas even does that sometimes. Like,
no, I don't blame for it.
Side. Who do you think Vegas would favor?
I think it would be a slight favorite for Alabama, like 3 points, maybe.
Yeah, I think I agree. Or maybe
I don't think it's a massive. Like, I think it's a 4-quarter game that could go either way.
Yeah. All right. Next, I want to talk about a little USC out west. But first, our friends at DraftKings have some great deals going down. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. Right now, new customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, like it doesn't matter. You start the season with an instant dub. And always remember, the DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at even bigger basketball wins. So string together multiple bets in the same game or build a parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Bottom line is basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. The crown is yours. I meant to mention this during the Bama conversation, Aaron. Are dog fans getting nervous about Bama yet? Both teams seem flawed. A lot of bragging rights to be on the line. And I believe...
I think Georgia's more concerned. I think more people are more nervous about this weekend right now before they start looking at Alabama.
Sure. But yeah. I said fans, though. I didn't say Georgia. I said fans. And I know the fans are already looking ahead to Alabama. You don't lie to me. They're not. They're only thinking about Ole Miss.
There's a top 10 team coming into Athens this weekend. I think they're squarely focused on that. I think you win this game, then it's kind of like, all right, you can start looking ahead a little bit from there. Like, I don't. You asked me a question. I gave you a response.
I know. I agree.
What do you mean about it? Sorry,
I'm sick of you trying to gaslight me.
But I do think that there is a thought going across most college football fans right now, saying Alabama there was multiple opportunities to knock Alabama out of this equation throughout the season. It was not done, and they've only gone better. Like they've been. To me, from the start of the season to where every team is right now, I would probably say Alabama has improved more than any other team in college football.
Am I wrong, or does Kirby have more national championships than he does wins over Saban?
Yes.
That's crazy. Like, that's legitimately insane that you could have more natties than you do wins over Nick Saban. But hey, that's the Nick effect.
I think I saw a stat the other day too. Georgia hasn't beaten Alabama in Atlanta since 1942.
What, like in the SEC championship? I guess is that what it means?
I don't know what the game was back in 1942, but just
okay.
Well,
look, it's gonna be great. I don't want to spend too much time here, but I just cannot wait for this heavyweight matchup that's coming down. I really don't think Ole Miss is good enough up front to go into Georgia and win. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say though. I am sick of you gaslighting me, because you and PB, I just keep thinking about y'all trying to sell me on this more explosive UGA offense, and it's fucking pissing me off. Yeah, Mahonky's putting up numbers, but love it and rah-rah, you cannot sell. What'd I say? Oh, I meant McConkey. You cannot sell me on you cannot sell me that 4 catches for 33 yards is explosive.
You look at a one-game sample size and you just make your judgment off that.
No, look at their entire season. These guys, look at the stats that other great receivers are putting up throughout the country, and don't fucking tell me, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like Ra and Dominic are okay. They're okay.
But I'm not. No, neither of us were saying these are all SEC caliber guys.
A more explosive offense post Brock Bowers. I don't see any proof.
I've seen McConkey make tons of plays down the field. I saw Ra win a 50-50 ball down the field.
For what? 10 yards? Get the hell out of here.
That was like 40 yards.
Anyway, yards. USC falls out of the top 25, which means there's been a lot of referendums on Lincoln Riley and what his first 2 years has been like. And you gotta love big media market classic columnists, because Bill Plaskey is so much fun to read when USC fucks up. How about this? I'm gonna give you the headline, and because I think sometimes we lose in our video era of I'm just gonna pop off this 30-second take. People are going to watch it, like it, and move on with their life. Like, we lose some of the genius of old school writing where there's editing and bite and real thought put into things. So here's his headline. Fired too late. Alex Grinch's last stand ends USC season. And then here's how the article begins. What a waste. The USC football season essentially ended Saturday as one big fat waste. A wasted brilliant offense. A wasted Heisman Trophy winner. A wasted full Coliseum. A wasted revival of Trojan pride. Wasted. All of it. Because of Coach Lincoln Riley's refusal to fix an indefensively bad defense that, in a single frightening word, has forever chiseled itself onto this season's tombstone. Grinched. Take a bow, Plasky. Incredible. And he's not wrong in some ways, but I don't know, Aaron. I find myself kind of wanting to defend Lincoln here. I'm telling USC fans, look, man, keep your head up. Football is fun. And it's about more than just a destination. And did you have higher expectations? Absolutely. Did you fuck it up? Absolutely. Like, everything that Plasky says is true. But over time, I would still bet on Lincoln Riley having USC as a consistent playoff relevant team, other than like an 8-4 team. Like, I still think he's going to create this program into a consistent 10-win team. So this just sucks really badly for this year, but it's all good.
Well, it's the identical situation to LSU. You exceeded expectations in year one. So everyone is kind of saying like, wow, you did that in year one. Year two is obviously going to be better. And football doesn't work like that. It's not just you stack wins and the next year's better, the next year's better. Like, if it was like that for everyone, like, no one would lose games. And we know that's not possible. Like, it was a great success early on. You won a Heisman. Your quarterback won a Heisman Trophy. You're in the Pac-12 championship game. Everyone's feeling pretty good. You felt like you added some pieces on the defense side of the football to make that side better. But I would still say USC right now, compared to when Lincoln, took over 2 years ago, is in a lot better spot. Just like I would say LSU with Brian Kelly 2 years ago, right now is in a better spot, even though they did not hit expectations from SEC championship game to now not going to get there this year. Just because the season feels like a failure doesn't mean the program isn't healthier. USC as a program is a healthier program. USC as a brand is stronger than it's been in maybe a decade. So will they be consistent teams, or a consistent team inside the playoffs year in and year out starting next year? I think so. I do. I think you're going to continue to amass talent. You hope they can figure it out defensively. But I think that's the problem, though, T, is the narrative of he has put together playoff teams. He's built Heisman Trophy winners. He has built first pick in the NFL draft guys, but has never won it because he refuses to get better defensively. Like, if you ask me now, both teams, in my opinion, yes, LSU and USC will be consistent players inside the playoffs. LSU has a far better chance under Brian Kelly of winning a national championship than Lincoln Riley at USC, because I believe Brian Kelly can build a team that is balanced on both sides of the football. Lincoln just can't do that.
But why is that? Right? Because it's not like it's a lack of effort. Like, you're definitely fucking trying. Now, he stayed with Alex Grinch for too long. And maybe that's what made me feel better, though, because if I'm a USC fan, that's like a very clear wrong decision that has cast a pall over half a decade of Lincoln Riley's resume. So, like, we don't actually have that much of a sample size that he'll be like worse, that he'll choose like another shitty coordinator not figured out, right? And at Oklahoma, Alex Grinch was getting better. That's one of the main reasons why he took him to USC with him. Like Oklahoma's defense was improving. Now, that incredible Jalen Hurts Oklahoma team, which Jalen Hurts season will always be lost to time, and it's crazy because it's like one of the wildest seasons ever. But Joe Burrow in 19L, they just ran into that, right? It just overpowered them. So I don't know. Like, I think this is actually kind of a relatively easy fix for Lincoln Riley. It just comes down to hiring the right defensive coordinator. And you could say that, oh, well, he's never done that in the past, but he's also just kind of stuck with his guy forever. So, like, maybe now that he has a choice and he knows he has to get it right, like, it's so painfully clear. And look, if I'm an SC fan, I understand. It hurts to be paying $10 million a year and have the same record that Clay Helton had at this time. But he took over a 4-8 team and went 11-3. And this season won't in there, but I still think you're going to have more of those 11-3 seasons than you will this 9-4, 8-5, however this one ends up.
And I think as a fan, and this is why I always lean towards having at least an offensive-minded head coach like that, at least you're being entertained. Like, if I'm going to lose,
yeah, true.
Put 40, 50 points on the board and make it a fun football game. Like, don't lose. Don't be, losing football games, scoring in the teens or low 20s. Like, at least entertain me. That's what, Heupel's doing at Tennessee. That's what he's doing at USC. And nothing against Heupel. Like, Tennessee's a good football team once again this year. That's another team that is going to be in that playoff conversation going forward as he continues to build there. I
love what Heupel's done because he's proven that he can win without great quarterback play.
Yep.
Like they're winning in the trenches, they're winning defensive, they're winning running the ball, which he did last year as well. But there was the question of like, once you get past Hendon Hookers, what's going to happen? And not only have you remained pretty relevant, but like, for a Tennessee program that was awful for 15 years, like, yeah, you're kind of slotting yourself right in as the second best team in the East, maybe a 10-win team, and that's with a very flawed quarterback. So I think Heupel's done a hell of a job.
Well, but I think that conversation could be changed if they lose to Missouri this week and then lose to Georgia and end up 8-4. But I would say, even
they got to go 9-3. They got to go 9-3.
But once again, like, I think Tennessee falls into this conversation too right now with USC and LSU of these schools aren't built yet. Like, it took Kirby some time. They aren't built yet to be every single year just staying around double-digit wins just yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think LSU is maybe a year away from that. I think USC could be a year or two away from that. I think Tennessee is maybe a couple years away from that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Close.
No, that's fair. And Brian Kelly said that. I mean, Brian Kelly said that before this game was played about LSU, and I think that Heupel would say the same thing as well. Marie says absolutely no one has said that Georgia's offense is explosive, yet somehow we keep winning, unlike LSU. Again, Georgia's offense is very good, very efficient. I just don't know that I would use explosive as a term for them. And that's what PB and Aaron were trying to tell me yesterday. And I was just in bed last night thinking of Aaron, and I just started to get a little pissed off. Started to get a little angry.
Yards per play is third in the SEC, only behind LSU. That's pretty good.
Who else?
Just LSU.
You said third.
Or second, sorry. Second.
Okay.
That is pretty bad of me. Second in the SEC behind LSU.
What is it? How many yards per play?
7.03.
Okay, that is really good. What's LSU, like 8 something?
Yeah, 8.1, which is crazy. A whole yard more.
Okay, 7.3 is really good though.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list, should Washington be? Let's do a little college football playoff preview. We got another top 4 coming tonight. Should Washington be in the top 4 right now?
Yes.
I would answer saying fucking duh. Like, what do you mean? There's 100%. No question. They have the best win. They just beat USC. They're in the conference with more ranked teams than any other conference. Mm-hmm. They're undefeated. It's very simple. You put them in over FSU. You put FSU at 5, and you know that if FSU continues to win, well, they'll be fine and slot right in because the big is going to take care of itself, and either Michigan or Ohio State's going to eliminate one or the other. Like, this is all very clear to me.
Yeah, I think to me, Michigan, they're not going to take Michigan out now. That's the problem. Like, Michigan is in. They've made the decision that Michigan has passed the eyeball test, and they're going to stay in, regardless. So you'd have to flip them with Florida State, and I don't think they're
deserving Florida State. Full stop.
What's that?
They're more. Washington is more deserving than Florida State. Full stop. They have a way better resume, and both teams have flawed at times.
But if you want to play the card of why was Ohio State won? Well, Ohio State won was because they had the big win against against Notre Dame on the road. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my God, you went into Notre Dame and won that game. Well, guess what? Florida State went into Clemson and won that game. Guess who just played and who won the game between Clemson and Notre Dame? Clemson beat Notre Dame. So if you want to give Ohio State the ranking of 1, play the logic. If you want to say Ohio State's 1, which committee did because they loved the Notre Dame win, why would you not like the Florida State win over Clemson in that case then? That's going to keep them in it.
Penn State win, though. It's also a Penn State win.
Yeah, it's a Penn State
no, all of Florida State's – Aaron, I don't know what to tell you. All of Florida State's wins are depreciating when you talk about Clemson LSU. It is. Yeah, it is. Okay. It's a 5-4 Clemson team. That's a depreciating.
Like, it appreciated a little bit over the weekend.
Maybe a little bit, negligible.
Depreciating.
For the vast majority of the season, it has been.
It has been, but I'm just saying, like this week, it kind of did like a little bit of U-turn.
I know you're into NFTs, but it's done the NFT thing just because it's got a little candlestick going here at the bottom. You look at the whole chart.
I saw a green candlestick. It was like red, green.
Yeah,
little green.
Exactly.
Little green.
You got a tiny little green thing going
so
on.
It is trending in the right direction.
Okay, sure. Technically, after this weekend, you're right.
You want to say like who's trending in more of the right direction right now? Clemson or USC? Like, how good of a win was that? USC's been shit.
I can't believe that you're actually trying to argue that Florida State's resume is better than Washington's right now. Okay, I thought it was clear. Maybe it's not as clear to me. I think Washington should clearly be 4, FSU 5, and it's not a big deal. And FSU's fine. Like FSU fans shouldn't even.
What are Washington's big wins besides Oregon?
I would say SC. And Oregon's a way better win.
Sucks. We just got done ripping USC.
If you're saying USC sucks, and you have to admit that Notre Dame
USC's lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they won by 1 point against Cal. How feel is that like a good football team right now?
I feel like we are having the single most uninteresting conversation that has ever been put on a college football podcast ever right now. This is so pointless. Nobody's getting smarter. Everybody who just listened to the last minute.
Why? Because I don't agree with you that Washington's schedule is a bunch of juggernauts.
No, because it's just, the more I think about it, it's just so pointless what we're arguing about. Like, it doesn't actually matter. There's no right or wrong here.
It does matter. And I hate when people say like being ranked inside the top 4 doesn't matter, because it does matter.
I'm not saying that as much as I'm saying this idea of arguing like the wins, but actually in this case, no, being ranked in the top 4 kind of doesn't matter, because we have to remember that one of Ohio State and Michigan will be out. So if you're ranked 5, you're essentially ranked 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm saying, so functionally, it's maybe fun to argue about, but like Washington, FSU, whatever. I don't know.
Until Michigan can't play in the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State wins it, and then Michigan gets in undefeated, and Ohio State gets in at 12-1. So
no. I do love that little scenario that you've created, but I don't think so. All right, we got one final topic to get to, and it has to do with your UGA Bulldogs. But first, shout out to our friends at Vaulted.
Everybody loves making sports predictions, but there's a new app putting a whole new spin on the game. Check out Vaulted. That's spelled VLTED. Vaulted. It's an app where you can track sports predictions and participate in daily cash prize pools. You can also show off your sports knowledge against your friends, your buddies, by your boldest takes, challenging your friends to see who makes the best picks. You can challenge every week in my weekly Colin Cowherd NFL pool. Do that, win money, real money. All you have to do is answer questions and risk confidence points. VLTED, Vaulted app, Vaulted Challenge. So download the Vaulted app right now, VLTED. The QR code is right there on the screen. Prove you're smarter than your friends and get the Vaulted app today. Really easy and fun to play.
Oh, man. Well, now I'm feeling kind of bad. My chat was way behind, so I didn't see all of these comments that I would love to get to. But whatever. It is what it is. Aaron Murray, are you going to play World of Warcraft Classic Season of Discovery with me at the end of this month when it comes out November 30th?
I will not be.
Please.
Sadly, no.
Please. Mm-hmm. You can be a damage dealer. Maybe like
I have no idea what that means.
You can be like a mage. Maybe a little DPS boy.
If you want to come, if you'll play some golf in the SEC Championship weekend, I'll get in the sticks with you.
Cam Schultz says, T-Bob, when are you going to join my WoW Guild ball? Again, Cam, I am planning on once again giving my life over to World of Warcraft at the end of this month, specifically Season of Discovery. So if we wanted to line up some sort of server, what server gonna be on, like I'm not opposed to it. I would love to get some sort of snaps and or off the bench guild going. All right. The final question of the day is UGA's win. Can I finish?
Okay.
Is UGA's win over Mizzou good enough to put them at number 1 over Ohio State?
Yes. eye test Georgia. Resume, now that Notre Dame has lost their third game, I wouldn't say it's like a massive difference. So yeah, Georgia's a better football team. I think between those two things, winning a top 12 matchup and then Notre Dame losing this week.
Is the Penn State win not better than the Mizzou win, though?
I think it is better. So yes.
Where's Georgia's second win? If they have a better main win and a better secondary win, why should Georgia be number one? Because they look better?
Because they look better. That's it. Just be honest.
Dominic
because of Dominic and Rah-Rah, like that eye test of the explosive offense is going to kind of overcome not having that second massive win for Georgia. So yeah, I think Ohio State struggled enough once again this week and kind of play with their food and looks extremely average on offense. And I'm saying, like, I don't know. Like, for all I know is Ohio State could, for how bad they look on offense, they have played really well on defense. Maybe they do find a way to beat Michigan at the end of the season. And we're all just kind of saying, like, wow, they won games with defense, and it's just weird to think about. But there has to be, you and I have talked about it all the time, like, you have to have some sort of balance on both sides of the football. Yeah. And there is just not that balance at Ohio State. It is heavily leaned towards the defense. McCord has not gotten better. Like, we talk about certain quarterbacks in the country getting better. Like, we talk about Jalen Milroe. Like, he has significantly gotten better. The offense has evolved around him. McCord has not gotten better from week one to where they are now. True. He is the same quarterback.
And Carson Beck has. That's one of the things that I've been most impressed with Carson Beck. Every week he does improve. He looks more comfortable. He makes great decisions. He spreads the ball around a ton. He's giant. Yeah, I mean, you raise a very good point, right? In a week, especially after LSU Alabama, that is highlighted, just what a team game this is and how you have to be complete. You're right. I would full agree with maybe, Michigan's maybe the wrench in this, but it feels like UGA or Michigan are the most complete teams in the entire country. So from a most complete team plus resume standpoint, even with the resume not being equal to Ohio State, yeah, I could see UGA at 1. But again, I don't know that it matters. They might still just.
Well, if it doesn't happen this weekend, if it doesn't happen tonight, it will happen next. Like, if Georgia beats,
Ole Miss, if they beat Ole Miss, yeah, that'll be 2 big wins in a row, and then they'll have a top 10 win, and they'll have a good secondary win in Mizzou, and that would be enough to put them over for sure.
Yep. This horrible strength of schedule that T-Bob loved to talk about the entire season. It's about to be 3 top 20 wins in a matter of 3 weeks for Georgia.
I mean, you're back-to-back national champions, and you're trying to drop your nuts on me for beating Mizzou at home. Like, I don't even know. Like, how far have you fallen?
When Mizzou's 10-2 at the end of the season, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it then.
LSU beat Mizzou, and LSU's garbage. LSU beat Mizzou in Como, and LSU's garbage. So I know what to tell you. I mean, like, I get it. It is a better schedule than you originally thought, but Mizzou's a bit like a jobber that they get a couple wins just to put the champ over. Like, I'm not going to buy you beating Mizzou. It was a great game, fun to watch, good game.
By Georgia beating Ole Miss because Ole Miss lost to Alabama. Like, are you cool with that one?
Enough? I will buy Georgia. Yeah. No, I mean, look, that it's okay. It's like a slightly harder schedule than you thought. I still don't think it's like a world-beating schedule. I think that the problem for Ole Miss is I think that Georgia's just an awful matchup for them. Because I think that Georgia's much better up front. And I really like Georgia's secondary. Like, I thought, to me, in the Mizzou game, that felt like the big difference there was Georgia's secondary.
Yeah, but Ole Miss's passing attack is that much better. We'll save it for tomorrow. We'll break down that game. I have some thoughts on it, on some things that do concern me, or it should concern Georgia fans, that we'll kind of, wrap our heads around tomorrow. But I don't think this is a clean, I think Vegas has this wrong. Not in the sense of Georgia is going to lose the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer.
What's the spread on this thing?
Man, I saw 11 yesterday.
Wow. Damn. Also, you can't ignore the fact that all these games are in Athens, Aaron. So, I know it's tough to play tough teams, but it's a lot easier when you play them at home. Yeah. Go Dog with $2 super chat. No Rutgers double snap for Snap's thumbnail. Come on. What did I miss? What's the Rutgers double snap? Am I missing something? Do you know? Do you know?
No. I was looking at another comment in there. If Ole Miss beats Georgia and Tennessee beats Missouri, doesn't the East
I
come
remember
back
that.
to-
No, they did. He's calling a double snap. I called it a fumble Ruski. Did you see that short yardage play? They lined up like they were going to sneak it. They snapped to the quarterback, and then the quarterback puts it through his legs. And okay, I see. My bad. No, we did see that. I just didn't. It wasn't popping off in my head. All right. Thank you all so much. Last one here. Heather Higginbottom says, if Ole Miss beats Georgia and Tennessee beats Mizzou, doesn't the East come down to the Georgia-Tennessee game? Yeah.
No,
for sure.
no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Because Tennessee would
Because if Tennessee would beat Georgia, they both have 2 losses and they would get the tiebreaker.
Yep.
I'll say this. I do a show with SEC Mike, Aaron. And he's hosted that SEC podcast, and he's like, he's a big Tennessee fan, and he's generally like most people who love something, he hates Tennessee and always like, oh, they're going to blow it. But he really thinks, he's been saying in this final 3-game stretch of Georgia that they're going to lose one, basically guaranteeing it. He really thinks they're going to lose in Neyland.
I think if they lose once this weekend.
Okay.
Georgia's had that. Georgia's just is dismantled Tennessee's offense for 2 straight years.
I know. But they're not just going to stop him the run this year. But I know. You're probably right. All right. That'll do it for today's show. Aaron Murray, thank you so much. What do you got going on the rest of the day?
Just more shows, baby. The grind. Hey, don't forget tonight, 7:30, Snaps reaction. Come hang out with us in the chat. We'll talk a little playoffs, break down what we what we see if the Dogs do get that number 1 spot.
So that'll be 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And thank you all so much. We love you. Thanks for hanging out. Please, y'all like, subscribe. The road to 8K continues. We're almost at 7,500, my friends. Thank you all. And if you listen to podcasts on Apple, Spotify, wherever, please rate and review. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more snaps.